Hi, I'm Kim Goldop-Graham from the Sewing Revolution. Today I'd like to show you how to do a 3 placement of machine embroidery with perfect results. So this is a 3 placement. Now prior to our 6/8 Sewing Revolution, a 3 placement was really a little bit difficult to do, but with our rulers it's actually quite easy. So I'm going to show you how we do that. First of all, we need to take our template that we print out from the software that we get with our machine. We then take our 6/8 Sewing Revolution, and if we want to fit 3 of these around in that circle, we have to fit this in between 1/3. So between this blue line here and this blue line there, that is 1/3 of the circle. This line here will be the centre of our design. So we take our template, there is our placement cross. We put our placement cross on that central blue line, and you'll note the design fits exactly between these 2 blue lines here. Turn that around so that it's straight. These 2 blue lines here, it's fitting exactly in between, and this is straight up the centre of our placement cross. The starting point or the centre of that placement cross we can see is at 3.5 inches. So we need to remember that number, and we're going to write that into the corner of our block, just like that. Then we need to mark our block up using our block marker. Our block marker is the foundation for most blocks. It gets you away from doing the folding, from drawing all the lines, and we can easily just centre that straight up. Now we recommend that you mark these foundation dots with a water-soluble marker so that when you press this, you don't get rid of these dots, because you need these right to the end. So we mark the 5 centre dots, these 5 centre dots, and our halfway dots on the 12-inch square. So that's these 4 dots here and these 5 here, so 9 dots all up. Now the reason we do that is so that when we do position our Sewing Revolution onto this block, it's going to be perfectly straight and centered. If we just plonk that on any old how, A, it's not exactly centered, and B, that design will always look a little bit crooked. So what we do, we're going to match the 5 centre dots here with the centre hole and the holes on the 1 inch on the vertical and the horizontal. And these outer dots we marked on the 12-inch square of the block marker should be seen through that 6-inch hole on the vertical and the horizontal. Now the reason it's important that we have this outer registration point is because it only has to be a tiny bit out in the centre. And look how out that dot there is. So we must have that outer registration dot and make sure that that is absolutely perfectly straight on our work. Then on every second blue line, we're going to mark a dot at 3.5, which is our starting point. And I'm using a heat erasable pen to do this. So at 3.5, an inch above at 4.5, and an inch below at 2.5. We're going to skip this blue line because we're doing a 3 placement. Again, we're going to mark at 2.5, at 3.5, and at 4.5. We're going to skip this blue line, mark this blue line at 2.5, at 3.5, and at 4.5. So what we'll end up with is 3 sets of 3 placement dots. I'm just going to make them a little bit darker so they're easily seen. So there is our 3 sets of dots. We then take our little template marker, which is this little 2.5-inch square, and we're going to match up these 1, 2, 3 vertical holes with the 1, 2, 3 dots that we've just marked, ensuring that our arrow is pointing in the direction that we want our embroidery to point. And in this instance, we need it to be pointing out towards the edge. So we're going to mark those dots in and then form our placement cross. Just as easy as that. On to our next one. Again, we're going to match our 1, 2, 3 dots that we've just marked with our 1, 2, 3 vertical holes mark in the other dots, and form our placement cross. So what we will end up with is 3 little crosses around in a circle, again matching up those 3 dots with the 3 vertical holes, and those 3 little placement crosses, and that is what we are going to hoop our fabric up to. Once we have hooped our fabric up, done all of our embroideries, there we have our perfect placement of 3. Okay, if you've enjoyed this video, please share it with your friends, and you can get the 6/8 Sewing Revolution at thesewingrevolution.com.au.